Good day, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to my humble home, my humble casa in Livingston, Montana. Okay, excuse me for a second. Let me get a drink of Powerade here. I've been working on a nasty cold and I've got a very raspy throat. Excuse me. Okay, yesterday I uploaded a video to YouTube. It was a review video on this Indigenous flute right here. There's a fella up in Canada that makes these. And right after I got done creating the video and nesting it on YouTube servers and stuff, I sent him a link, told him to look the video over and tell me if I'd made any mistakes, because okay, let me put the pitch in right now. I like to have the information correct when it comes to these indigenous flutes, Native American flutes, Canadian Indian flutes, or whatever have you. Simply because, ladies and gentlemen, this is an instrument that's an instrument of peace. It's a spiritual instrument. It's an instrument of meditation, if you will. It's an instrument of calming. It's an instrument of soothing, and like that. And now let me look this camera right now and ask you, what kind of a world do we live in? We live in a world full of hate. We live in a world full of stress. We live in a world full of murders and crimes and crooked politicians. And this list goes on and on and on. That is why when I find myself making a mistake or two, especially when it comes to these indigenous flutes, Native American flutes, Canadian Indian flutes, or something like that, if I know I've got some erroneous information out there, I'm going to correct it. But you need to watch my last video so you know what I'm talking about here, okay? And no, I'm not looking for more brownie points on YouTube or more hits or whatever have you. I don't do YouTube to make money. I don't do YouTube, for that ad revenue stuff. Anybody that follows my channel knows this. Everything I do on YouTube is free. I'm not after a bunch of subscribers. I'm not looking to get famous or anything like that. It's just my little way of speaking out into a big, wide, large, dysfunctional world. Okay, I write to Richard. He writes me back. This is what he says. He says, "Well done, James." I'm sure Richard just said that with an exclamation point. He probably wanted to say, he probably really deep down inside probably wanted to say, what kind of a nut do I got my hands on here? Just kidding. Okay, here's what Richard said. The only thing you could clarify is regarding the origin. Where this tuning, the origin of the tuning. You could probably do that just below and in the comments, description section below the video. Oh no, Rich, we'll do it this way, eyeball to eyeball, because that's the kind of guy I am. I want to get this stuff straight for the reasons I just gave you. Now listen, folks, the tuning on the indigenous flute right here, the tuning on the indigenous D-style flute comes from Kevin Locks, Locké. That's his name, apostrophe S, because, he's, Kevin Locke's grandfather's over 100-year-old flute. Now, Kevin Locke, Locké, is no doubt a Native American Indian, I do believe, and same with his grandfather. So this is his grandfather, and I don't know who Kevin Locke is, so you'll have to, Google the name or whatever have you. Kevin is from Wakpala, I think I got that right, Wakpala, South Dakota, which tells me he's probably Sioux Indian or Lakota Sioux or something along those lines, with all due respect. There is really no differentiation among First Nations, meaning Canadian, or Native Americans, U.S., as their traditional territory had parts in both the U.S. and Canada. Okay, now here's this next sentence right here, Rich, and for us you folks that are, if you haven't fallen asleep by now, this is what kind of blew me away. I didn't know this, and I didn't really know if I wanted to buy this, But Rich is such a humble, nice, well-educated man that, man, it's hard not to believe him. But this is what Rich typed to me in this email. The tuning on what is known as the Native American flute dates back only to the 1980s. Hey, Rich, and the rest of you guys, that's like yesterday as far as I'm concerned. I'm just kidding. Dates back to the 1980s. So, so apparently the flutes I've been messing around with are way more modern tunings, if that's the word I can use, compared to this guy that's over 100 years old. Okay. The tuning on what is known as the Native American dates back to the 1980s, already said that, and was popularized by R. Carlos Nakai. I think that's how you pronounce his name. Nakai. I've heard some of his music recordings. I think he's got albums out and all that kinds of stuff. Interesting bits of history I learned from Kevin Locke and flutetree.com. F-L-U-T-E tree.com, okay? And it is worth the look if you haven't already checked it out. I haven't, but anyway. Flutetree.com is part of what they call Flute Tree Foundation, exploration of Native American flutes from past to present. And then, of course, he thanked me for my review of the Indigenous style D diatonic Northern Spirit flute. We're going to have to shorten all this up, Rich. You know that, don't you? Anyway, and Rich says, and in your words, we shall see you on down the trail. You know, ladies and gentlemen, why I always say that at the end of my videos? We shall see you on down the trail. Because I'm one of these big apes that definitely looks better going than coming. I'll pause and let that sink in. I definitely look better going on down the trail than coming at you. Okay. Now, what I did, I'm going to try to get through this just as absolute fast as I can. Now, what I did, ladies and gentlemen, is I ran downstairs this morning and grabbed up all my flutes. These are all supposedly modern Native American flutes, okay? I own 13 flutes, counting that ABS plastic flute that I just was waving around, that I did the review on yesterday. I'm not going through all these flutes here, because we'd be here for a month of Sundays. But I got everything from F sharp to D to E to B to C to, I've got a lot of keys, okay? My favorite key, B, like in Bravo. This is one thing I'm going to say real quick right here. If you decide to start playing a Native American flute or Indigenous flute or whatever have you, here's the most important thing that you can do. Forget the key. Forget the tuning. Forget all that. Get a flute that fits your fingers. Because if you don't, if the finger holes are too big or spread apart, you won't be able to play it. And you'll kick it under the bed and there you'll be. So, but I went down and got all my flutes because I wanted to do a little experiment, and I wanted to check the tuning on a flute that I thought came the closest to this guy right here. This is a big D, a major diatonic D bass flute. But just take a look at this, the fingering. Just take a look at them holes, them note holes. I can't even play this flute because the holes, the note holes are too far apart. But you take a look at this guy right here, almost the same tuning, almost, not quite. But you take a look at them holes right there, and anybody, I mean almost anybody, can easily place their fingers and hands and whatnot have you over those holes. Okay, that's definitely a plus, absolutely a plus. Now, what I did is I took it, and with all of these holes plugged up, in other words, fingers on top of the holes like that and whatnot have you. And the same way with that plastic ABS flute, the default tuning was the same, D major, But once you start opening up this big old bass flute and playing it and screwing around, things got way different in a quick hurry. This is it proved it enough to me that this is absolutely a standalone, one of a kind, real old, 100-year-old tuned type of an instrument, okay? I proved it to myself. And what else do I got to say? Well, let's throw in a few other things. Most of this stuff is in my other video, but I should shut up and get gone here. I don't like to make these videos too long, but this video, this flute here is cheap. They're easy to make. That with that old tuning, it makes it real unique. That the finger hole spread is very, very nice on this, and so there you are. You just can't beat it, So therefore, I hope that I corrected everything that I said wrong in my yesterday's video. Kevin Locke's grandfather was the one that invented this old 100 plus year tuning. That's what I got to say. Okay. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. And like I'm famous for saying, we shall see you on down the trail. We know how that goes. Okay, and take care of yourselves. And adios, my friends.